Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei, Al Bob. I am your shamanic griot to tell you stories. So here we are. Hello, Mr. IT. AI. Anyway, my artificial friend there. So, was the hey, Martin Young, how's it going? Excellent. Um, the thing, the new normal that's going to be coming upon us is more agitation. People are just going to be, I mean, you know, 6 days into, and I said this before the New Year's, I said 2021 is going to be way weirder and wilder than 2020 was. It's actually going to make 2020 look like, um, you know, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Whatever that kind of 1950s. That will be, when people go, what was the old times like? It would be 2020. Would be the old times. The new 2021. All these shootings, unbelievable. And anytime you go in and you whack a whole bunch of people, you're not doing that with a happy heart, you know. And it comes from anxiety. These people they're either mind controlled or just so skitzed out that they think that's going to relieve their anxiety. I don't think so. And there isn't a catastrophe that can't be taken advantage of. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at rebranding of the tomorrow of the tomorrow. When you talk to the string theory kids, they basically say, "Oh, look, there are all these little bubbles of universes. We have all these parallel universes, and basically, what we're experiencing, what we are not our bodies. I am not this. This is an avatar. This is a bag of water. You know, that allows me to experience physicality, but it's who knows what it is because we are so limited by our five senses. We really only get 0.0009% of what's coming in. All that what is considered dark matter, that is like 98% of what's around. We just can't see it or know it or measure it or any of the above. Just like, in the days before radio waves, or we knew what microwave was, or we knew what X-rays were, or we knew what infrared was, we had no idea about that. But now that is part of our mechanism of sensing our universe. So, how we can truly sense who and what we are is through our spiritual nature. And spirituality is not a religion. Religion is a banking, business scam. Now, there are religions that were started by, great human beings that were touched by, the enlightened sense of the Creator, and Buddha, Vishnu, many, 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 many others. And someone once asked Mahatma Gandhi, who was just a normal guy, but he was a good human being. He tried to do the best for his fellow folk there in India. He didn't like the imperial sense of England, running everything. And so he wanted his country to be free. So anyway, some European um, news person asked him what he thought of Jesus Christ. And he said he thought Jesus Christ was great. He prayed to him all the time. He just wished that the people who call themselves Christians were as good as Jesus. You know, look at that. See that little scar? I got that from my sister when she tried to stab me with a Easter bunny, a plastic metal Easter bunny. She got me. What's your opinion on ghosts? Do you believe they are souls or recordings of people? Well, since we're talking about parallel universes, that's kind of what I think it is. It's people who, you know, are experiencing, and it's like they're kind of shadow existence in our realm, and they may have been alive and they passed on, and they hadn't either been sucked into the karmic wheel, and that's what happens when you end up in that in between zone. Is that? And Martin, did you ever see a show called Fringe by J.J. Abrams? That was that, and that was like maybe 10, 12 years ago. It's pretty interesting that it's been so long ago. It's like, the X-Files were 20 years ago, and they talked about all these kind of interesting things. There's really, and there was another really interesting show. I think it still may be on, called not Paranormal. What's the other thing? Paranormal and starts with an S. Supernatural. I think that's the name of the show. They do a pretty good job. Very creative. They don't say this is what it is. They just kind of keep throwing out, they show the devil as a neurotic English guy. And who knows? I'm not God, and my opinions, yes. So you've seen Fringe. So, that's kind of where we're at. There are all these kind of things, but the status quo that wants to keep the average normie in line, the sheeple, that's why we have religions. That's what Marx was talking about when he said religion is the opiate of the masses. See, no one ever really goes straight to point. Fascism, socialism, communism, democracy, capitalism, they're all the same thing. It's a group of people who are trying to control the masses, right? By a belief. I don't believe in anything. I have faith in love's co-creation. I serve love's co-creation. I don't serve a government or a people or a church or any of the above. I serve love. And I try my best, and I am, I'm in this bag of water. So I have, the same kind of hormonal constrictions on me that all other humans do. I just try to stay awake of what's going on. Buddha's on the side of the road waiting, just looking at the beauty of the universe. And some traveler goes, "Well, man, are you God?" And Buddha looks at him and goes, "No." And then the guy goes, "Well, what are you?" And Buddha replies, "I'm awake." And that is what we have to strive for, to be awake, to be able to perceive what is love and how we can serve love and how we can share love with all our relations. So we can, through baby steps, ascend to one love, to love's one love, right? And that's when all of us, all our relations can get on that page of love's one love. That's when, that's heaven, if you want to give it a all those terms, God, heaven, I mean, when you look at them and you take them all the way back into the Sumerian and then into further back, they get very blurry, very muddy. And so it's having love in your heart that really manifests the motif of what we're doing here. Otherwise, your career, even relationships. I mean, all those things are fine. They're just being part of the sandbox of experience. And if you use your love to experience all those things, that's fine. But they aren't. Becoming famous, rich. The you know the beautiful spouse. The big house, the fancy car. Those aren't the reasons to live. You know, and it's a very shallow person and a very shallow life if you go at it that way. Now, I was going to bring one of my photo books, but I left because I had things on my mind, right? And that's what you can distract. I mean, this whole last few days, I've been gardening. I've been getting my vegetable garden together. I had a little experimental one last year, and stuff came up pretty good, but then the animals ate everything. I got some cucumbers and some squash, but then they came in. So I had to build fences and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and it's supposed to snow Monday, so I'm not planting anything until mid-April or end of April, but I'm getting ready. So and I'm putting down flower beds and I could get distracted easily, and things would happen. And it's like my PayPal. I thought I couldn't access something, and I came here to my internet guru, and he said, "No, look, it's that you did put some money into your account, and here it is. You know, you know, um, they just took all those different ones you had and put them together and put it in as one thing." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know. I was just a little distracted that I couldn't put that money in my bank account." And then, my bank has been bought out by some larger conglomerate that's now, you have to go through Brussels and then over to Japan and then to the, it's like, what? And I'm talking to somebody in some other foreign land, and they won't even tell me who they are or give them an identity or who they work for. It's like, what? I mean, these are all things to distract us, to make us anxious, and I'm just saying, I'm saying that, I'm trying to have love in my heart for all of this, but it's still a distraction. It's still, an anxious causing thing. But all I really have to do is go and, so I was, Sunday distracted and I said, no, I just have to meditate. And I sat down in one of these folding chairs, and the material gave way, and my butt was on the ground, and my legs were straight up in the air, and my back was like this, and I couldn't move, and the metal frame it was still good, so it wasn't tipping over, so I couldn't just tip over and roll around and get out. And I was, it's like I could be there forever, and I just said, no. I sat in this chair to meditate. So that's what I'm going to do. So I meditated, and I became very relaxed. And my back, instead of being kind of eased out, and my back slid away from the back metal thing that was holding me in there like this. And my back went to the ground. So my butt was on the ground, my back was on the ground, and all I had to do was kick the chair away. And that is a good metaphor for life, is that just relax, breathe, meditate. No matter how you're restrained or restricted or tied up or can't get out of whatever is causing you great anxiety, just relax. Just breathe. So let's do a little meditation. and you breathe in that 20%, because you breathe in 20% more than your autonomic system has you breathing, and you get a lot more inside of you. Plus, you have to put your squirrel, your conscious mind, focused on your breath. And then you breathe out 30%. In through the nose, smell the roses. Out through the mouth, blow out the candle. And then you can say a prayer when you're doing this and put that focus of your breath into the prayer. And the prayer, like the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer, that is a prayer that is good for any religion, because it goes to our Father, the Creator. Now, it is anthropomorphized as a man. Well, of course, we live in a male-oriented, maleistic civilization, that I like to call it, maleistic. And men they are so distraught about their inadequacies. They have to be bullies and fighters and warriors, and instead of artists and poets, and the great men are artists and poets, because they're being the artist in the first person, the Aboriginal. I mean, what did that first Aboriginal person do? Did they start a bank? Did they build an assembly line? No, they took the charcoal from the cooled fire and drew on the cave wall. That was the first act. Is to draw a picture, to share their feelings through an expression. And that's kind of what we need to be doing. If we did more of that, we wouldn't be shooting each other. We wouldn't be having wars. We wouldn't be freaking out about stuff so we couldn't appreciate what we really have. Now, I have very little, but I appreciate everything I have. I'm out in the middle of the woods, Cadillac camping. And yet when I say, okay, I'm going to meditate. So breathe with me. Illuminate your imaginary mirror. And as you're bringing that light in, you're breathing it in. You're breathing in the prana, the life force. What animates our bag of water, is the prana, the life force, right? It's Father Sky, the prana, Mother Earth, the chi, meaning that current has to be grounded. So as we breathe in, we're breathing in the prana. When we're breathing out, we're grounding. We're connecting to our chi. And when we do that, we illuminate not only our subconscious mind behind our imaginary mirror, we bring that prana into our lungs, and our heart pumps the blood through our lungs. And that's where our blood is deep red, it's full of iron. It's conductive. We are electrochemical devices. And so that the thing that animates our body, gives it life force, is the prana. Prana is the life force, right? So we breathe it in, and when we breathe it out, we're grounding with Mother Earth, and we're also eliminating all the waste products of our body. See it clearly. And in that process of breathing in that prana, and your blood goes through your lungs, and it chemically, you eliminate more toxins from your body through your breath than any other, more than urine, more than feces, more than sweat. Your breath eliminates, right? Now, if I have, besmirched anyone's sensitivities by using the word urine or feces or sweat, I really apologize. And I have to say, welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al-Bob, and anyone who is of a child, not a child, but has infantile paralysis of their consciousness, that they're stuck in the wah, 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 wah. Well, this show isn't right for you, or really is for you if you can stop going wah, 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 and start breathing. Because if you do, you may stop going wah, wah, wah. Right? So it's 20 minutes and 20 seconds. I love it when that happens. Synchronistic moments. There's 3 of you there. I am probably not going to, right now it's clouding up. We had 4 nice days of sunny, beautiful weather. And today was the last day before rain, and we're supposed to have, I think Sunday was the first day of spring, and we're going to have rain for a whole week, and pretty hard. And we might even get snow next Monday. Hopefully not. And I probably won't be going out. I won't be able to. I have to drive. I only have one place now that I can go online. This one church. All the other churches turned their Wi-Fi down. This one church left it because they knew people who lost their internet or didn't have internet or, needed the internet. They were, righteous folk. They left the internet up so they can just be in their parking lot and be online. So, but even the libraries around here have turned their internet down, and they don't let people in. You have to call them and say, I want X, Y, or Z book. And then you have to knock at the door and they come and bring you the book. It's like, and that's like the new normal. They're like restricting everything. The they. Who are the they? The they come from the entities of that are multidimensional, and that's for sure. And Martin asked us about ghosts, and that's kind of what's going on. Are we the ghosts or are they the ghosts? It's a thing. Just painted the garden fence. They also have weeks of rain coming on here in Wales. I love Wales. I had a great teacher at Trinity in Ireland. His name was Archie. I forget his last name, but he was one of the first people in the 1920s who said that pyramids were all over the planet. They weren't just in Egypt. And that they were a machine, an energy machine that were connected to the grid. And before, this guy, I forgot the guy who wrote it, but he, wrote a book in the 90s or the early O's about, the great, grid. And it was straight up Archie, and all the people in the anthropologic world and the geologic world and the Egyptology world knew Archie, right? And he was English, came from Scotland. He was Scottish, and his family were of nobility, and they had the big castle in Scotland and the big lands and all of that. But he spent most of his life in Ireland because he was studying the Celts, because he felt that they were the last of the old folk who knew what was going on, who knew about the old machines, like the pyramids in Giza. I went there in the early O's to look at stuff that was being dug up. And I was brought there because I wasn't an Egyptologist. I wasn't any of those ologists. Even though I was trained in them, I wasn't. I was a psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic, shamanic alchemist. And so what I was very good at was seeing things in trends, because I realized that the past was back there and wasn't here now, and the future isn't here quite yet, and we're just in the moment. But all of past, present, and future are connected, and not in a linear way, in more like we're experiencing the Big Bang right now, and the essence of what we think is just in this moment. And so when I looked at the stuff they were bringing out, my experience with Tesla technology, I realized that the Grand Pyramid in Giza was actually an energy weapon. And if you look at now, they've taken off the reflective um, quartz material that was on there, and turned it into people's bathrooms over the millennia. But if you look at the shape of the pyramid, it's not just the three sides aren't flat. They're a little concave, just like a parabolic antenna. And so it was an energy weapon. And, the energy weapon that you see in Star Wars was that. And the wars that you see in Star Wars happen in our solar system. And there was a planet between Mars and Earth that was the major home planet. And there was a war, and someone from this planet built the pyramids and focused that energy weapon on that world and blew it apart. And that is what the Oort belt is, which is where all the asteroids are, the asteroid belt. It's the flotsam and jetsam of that planet. So, and the Nazis went out there. They went to the moon in the 30s. They went to, there in the South Pole, Antarctica, and found ancient civilizations and ancient technologies. And they had already been working on anti-gravity in the United States. They sent over a bunch of interesting folk who went to California. And why is, all of the aerospace industry out in California? Because these guys were there in the 1840s, right? And they had not balloons but anti-gravity devices, not perfected, but they were fooling around with it. And then they went to Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, and and that was one of the Thule Society's bases, and that's why they jumped off into Antarctica, because it's just right over there from Argentina. And they found this stuff, and before they were Nazis, they found this stuff. So, and they had been the Thule Society and other Teutonic entities, and that's what the Nazis were. They were the poster children of this Teutonic ancient civilization, the grid and ley lines. Yep, that's it. The grid and the ley lines. Yep, that's it. And Archie, we went to Scott. So I was there in Trinity. I was and how I met the old crone was I met Archie first, and he thought it was interesting, so he told the old crone, and so she came and found me in the library and took me to her farm. But I came back 3 or 4 more times over the years, and I would always hang with Archie. And we took in Ireland, we took what was known as a gypsy wagon, meaning it was like an RV but drawn by a horse. And the horse knew the way, and we went up the West Coast, and we could clip clop, and we could walk faster than a horse. And when we got off the thing, the horse would go up until it knew the place to stop where it could get off the road and eat grass, and then we'd come back. And so we would look at these places called beehives. They were stone homes with thatched huts, and they went way down. They were, like 1,100 years. And they'd build one floor and throw the bones and garbage out the window, and then the garbage got higher than the window, so they built another floor and filled it in, put another thatched hut on that. So you go look at the bee houses, they go underground 40, 50, 60 meters. It's pretty interesting. And so all of these things are connected, but there isn't, this they that want to keep us totally, look over there. Oh, you want this? Oh, you want that? Oh, this here, put a lollipop in your mouth. Wah, wah. That's what they want to keep us. They don't want us to meditate and breathe and be able to see and be awake. That would be difficult if people started to wake up. And people are, and so now, we got the new society called the woke, and they're not waking up because they're not realizing, they're making, Black Lives Matter, this matters, that matters. This is very true. Misogyny, racism, gender inequality, all of these things are there as, human beings are human beings. They aren't male human beings and female human beings. No, this is gradient. And that's where that's why it's LGBTQSRMOUSE. It means everyone is kind of different. And not, the concept of exceptionalism is, I'm so much better than you, I should win and you should lose. No, we should all win. We're all here to win, right? Because that's what love is. Love is winning. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob, me. And I am your shamanic griot. What is shamanic griot? Shamanism is a worldview, a frame of how to see. We all have our own worldview, and that's called our subconscious. And so that's shamanism. That's not our individual prejudice. Shamanism is this window, and it's mostly based on indigenous folk, the first people who've been here for a long time, not just us who've been here not very long. And the United States is a great example. Here we came, and Chris came, and he wrote in his log, after the Indians went out there and got him and protected him and nursed him back, he wrote in his little journal, because that was like what was valuable, his journal. He wrote down, these people are great. They're tall, they're strong, they're handsome, they're beautiful, they're generous, they're loving. They'll make great slaves. I could conquer, and he went to this island in the Caribbean where there were about 6 million of them, and he said, I could conquer these people with 10 men with muskets, because they had they didn't even war. That was their concept. And he came back with his son, and instead of 10, he brought 2,000. And they all had muskets, he had cannon, and he just killed all those people right off the bat. And that was the, the motif of conquering, imperial forces. And America doesn't, we're exceptional. We're not imperialists. Well, please, come on. We offed in the last 400 years 600 million indigenous people, give or take, and took everything, and then defiled it, So when it hits 34, I'm going to get a time. I haven't eaten anything. I want to go get myself a Bojangles biscuit. Yeah. Anyway, and you can eat whatever you want as long as it's not every day and all the time, and the same thing, and so that's where it's at. So I just wanted to tell you I love you, and tell you remember to breathe, and I will, within a week I'll do another show. I just wanted to put this one up here. But I've been looking at the last shows. I'm almost every other day or every day. I'm not every day, but at least within 3 days I do a show. But this one's going to rain so much, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to stick. I'm going to be writing, and I write every day. But when I get kind of planted in the man cave, I write all day. And so instead of a quarter of a page done, I can write, 10, 20 pages, And I'm getting towards the end of my legend. I've sent 200 pages of it off to a friend of mine who is a scholar at a university. She knows a lot of, literary folk. So she's going to take a look at it and then find interesting parts and send them on off to her literary folks. So anyway, working away at that, and I wish I could, because it's on the same computer that I talked to you at. I'm going to see if I can bring up. See, it kind of knocks my documents off. So I guess I'll have to print some of it out and read it to you. I'd like to do that. Okay. So I just want to say I love you, and that, go with love in your heart, and remember to breathe. And go look at some of my, I got a lot of shows on this thing. Yes, Google has done something with half of them, and I have no idea where they sent them off to. But anyway, what can I say? But I love you, and how about some thumbs up? Tell some more people so get more subscribers. Because I haven't been able to get above 500. It's really bizarre. They said if I get above 500, I can use my phone again, which would be great, because then I could be more mobile. Anyway, there's a thumbs up. Thank you. And if you want to, you can go to PayPal and put in my Gmail account, my Dude Awake 42, the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. And you could drop something into my PayPal account, and I would love to see that, because, I got about $52 in my bank account, and that's okay. I haven't gotten my big check yet, and that's why I spent all my money. I expected it to be in my bank by now, but and I find that a lot of people haven't received it yet, but some have. So it's those things of being anxious, and I'm not going to be anxious, I'm not going to worry about it. But I do have to, I just put, the last $17 I had in my pocket into my gas tank, because the little light lit up on my gas tank thing. So I put half a tank in there. So anyway, that's the story. I just want to tell you I love you, and you keep up the good work. Okay? Remember to breathe. Okay. I'll see, when you're having fun, you go past the time. Now it's 37. So when it hits 38, I will end the stream. 58, 59, 38. So when it hits 38. So you be well. Have a good day. Spread the word. There's 4 of you now. And I'll try and do another show if it doesn't rain during the week, and I'll come and do one. Okay. I love you guys. Take it easy. Boop, 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 boop. Here we go. Do, 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 do.